7 guys. Georgia's got 7 guys that are transferring in for the 2025 season. Are any of these guys going to make a difference that really does matter? Let's talk about it right now. Dean Legge from Dawg Post. Make sure you're signing up for our newsletter. Link to that is down below. And, I just put this back on the screen. This is an article that, we've been keeping track of for some time here. And, Seven Clouds, a junior college kid that's coming in. I think the guy to watch the most here, there are 2 guys. Very specifically, I would say Noah Thomas. He's been very dependable, in SEC play. And his time at A&M, he got the job done. I mean, a season ago, he went for 39. He went for 574 yards, 8 touchdowns on 39 receptions. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of, production. And then you think about Zachariah Branch over at SC. Look, he is a dynamic playmaker. What I don't know about him, just being straight here, is, what's going to be like for him to be in the league. Okay? When Urasek came in a year ago, I thought there'd be more production from him. Does it bias me against West Coast guys? No, I wouldn't say that, because I've seen, I have seen what Branch can do, and the guy is extremely explosive. Okay, and when you start talking about his 2023 season, he was exceptionally good. He was named All-American. Okay, there's not a lot of guys running around who are All-Americans. Okay. So you got that, 31 receptions for 320 yards, but it was the returns. I mean, he had a 96-yard touchdown return on a kickoff. He had a 75-yard punt return. He was averaging 21 yards in punt return. 21 yards. That's a fifth of the field. Average. So, again, y'all, there's only so many plays. You're looking at between 10 and 12 drives in a game. With the way the clock has been working, it's closer to 10. Okay, so you got 10 drives in a game. If you can steal a touchdown, if you can sack a guy, if you can steal a touchdown on special teams, if you can, get big explosive plays, that's going to make all the difference in the world. All the difference in the world. And, Georgia's not had that kind of explosion on offense. It just hasn't happened. And that's the problem. When you think about really good Georgia teams that over the years, Ladd McConkey, James Cook, folks who have really been good, teams that have really been good, they've had explosive players on them. DeAndre Swift in the 17 season, Sony Michel, DeAndre and Sony in 17. DeAndre in 18 and 19, but Nick, Sony, and DeAndre all on the same team. That's a lot of explosion from the run game. That's why Jake Fromm didn't have to, break his neck about being extremely dynamic in the pass game. It just was not something that he, had to worry about. So to his benefit, I would argue. But you've got to have explosive plays. And that's the question, can they get that out of these guys? We're going to see. Use the code MEGABET. I got a link down below. It's Super Bowl week. You get a chance to get up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win with BetMGM. Okay, so use the term the code MEGABET. Let's check in on BetMGM real quick here just to see what these odds are. I don't know if you can see this so well, but they are at 2, a little bit big. So Georgia is the 3rd betting favorite right now to win the national championship, but these odds have shifted slightly. Both Georgia's and Texas getting slightly closer to Ohio State as we come through the offseason. Why? Why did that happen? Well, there's a few reasons. You have a lot of departures from Ohio State. So that will take effect and hurt them, I would imagine. So, well, let's just see how it goes. Anyway, use the term MEGABET, the code MEGABET, MEGABET, And the link is right down below. Take advantage of this, y'all. $1,500 in bonus bets if your first bet does not win. Check that out today. But I think, with Branch specifically, you've got a lot of firepower on special teams. With, I think that's the thing. Noah Thomas has played in this league before. And he has been good in this league before. And Georgia needed some playmakers. And I mean, they got them. They've got some playmakers now. It's up to them to really deliver. And we're at the point in this game, the transfer portal game, for lack of a better term, where, the guys that you bring in, they've got to matter. Are these two guys going to matter? Now, after that, it's harder for me to know. Micah Bell, who is Dylan Bell's brother, transferred him from Vanderbilt by way of Notre Dame, or Notre Dame by way of Vanderbilt. I don't know how I'm supposed to say that. Adrian Maddox from UAB, Jaden Harris from Miami, who was a pretty good player for them down there. Zion Branch as well from SC coming in. So these guys, the portal in the past, Georgia's so two things. I had a video not that long ago talking about how Georgia was winning the portal. They're keeping a lot of people. One thing that's got to happen at some stage here is the port. We got to get to yes on when we're stopping. I mean, we got to have portal, entry and exit all at one time. It's getting to the point where coaches are using it as an excuse. That's what's going on in Nebraska right now. Not to play a spring game, like come on, and then or not to televise it. And then you got, for me. We got to get some sanity in the calendar, and that's a real problem in college football. The old way, where you had a February signing day, that was getting compressed even in the Mark Richt time because you had so many early enrollees. Guys that were coming in 15, 10, and 6 guys. I remember when Matthew Stafford signed. They had Matthew, Chris Durham. I think they had a couple other guys, Scott Haverkamp and so forth. They had several guys all at once that were coming into Georgia as early signees. So it was starting to trickle in back then. So it's like Matthew and Chris and like Scott Haverkamp and maybe Israel Troop or something like that. So, the world was changing. That's 20 years ago. And now we just have it to where the calendar's a mess. But the point is that, Branch and Thomas are going to have to be players for Georgia. It can't be that they're sort of good. They need to make, they need to be explosive. You need to notice them at least every other game. There's got to be, because look, let's just be straight. These guys are getting paid. I mean, like, that's what they're there. And I don't know how much they cost. I don't know the answer to that. But it ain't nothing. And, when Georgia is going out to get somebody, that means they need to perform. And we're going to see what happens. My suspicion, and we're going to see, is that Thomas will be acclimated quickest to where we're at. Branch may be an A.D. Mitchell situation. If you don't remember that part, A.D. Mitchell in 2021, like, it took him, I mean, this is maybe the wrong way to put it, because I think he was hurt during some of that year, but like from the Tennessee game on, you knew who A.D. Mitchell was, period. And, of course, he made such a huge catch against Alabama, had a great game against Tennessee. But again, thinking about that Tennessee game in 2021, there was explosion all over the field from Georgia. Not just, you had Stetson making plays, and that's true, but it was James Cook, it was A.D. Mitchell. There was a vertical passing game. I mean, it was all there. And Georgia needs explosion. And they've got, listen, Dwight Phillips Jr., that kid can fly. You've got, Nate Frazier. I'm not asking Nate Frazier to take it 45 yards. That's not necessarily who he is, but someone's got to do that. And he can be the jab to the knockout punch. And that's okay too. But some of these guys, you lost Anthony Evans. Anthony Evans was extremely explosive, okay? And now you're going to have to replace that explosion with more productive explosion. Can Georgia do that? Who's the most likely? You tell me below. Is it Branch, Thomas, or am I missing someone? Thanks for watching.